It's Monday, June 9th, and Jane spent the whole day on the stand in the Diddy trial, and her testimony was explosive, from detailing the physical abuse that she allegedly endured by Combs and revealing that Combs is still paying for her attorneys. It was a lot, so let's break it down. I'm an attorney and I read what happened, so you don't have to. As a heads up, this is going to be a long video. I'm going to try to fit it all in one, so let's get into it. After what Jane described as a sobriety party turned into a hotel night, Combs then flew to Miami. Jane testified that she then texted Combs asking him for money, and he didn't respond. So she sent angry text messages about feeling used, to which Combs responded with a voice memo saying, "I'm single, I don't have to listen to you." Eventually, they got on the phone, and Jane testified that Combs offered to cover her rent for 3 months after she called her experience traumatic. She allegedly told him, "I'm not Gina or Cassie." She explained that those were two of Combs' former partners, who in her own words, she said, left quietly. Soon after that exchange, Jane testified that she visited Combs at his house, and she called it one of my favorite moments. The jury was then shown photos of the two of them in his master bedroom. Jane testified, "I felt like he had really absorbed for the first time what I was saying. I felt that he had understood me in that moment." They spent time together in late October, but Jane left before Combs' birthday on November 4. "With celebrations, I just feel like they would be put on me with him wanting a party," she testified. Still, she bought him a gift, a mobile TV screen for movie nights, which she hoped would replace the entertainers. Then, everything changed. Jane found out about Cassie's lawsuit in November 2023. Jane testified, "I almost fainted. In fact, I think I did." She testified that 3 pages of Cassie's lawsuit had a harrowing resemblance to her story. "I just reacted like I can't believe I'm reading my own story," she said. She'd only met Cassie a few times a few years ago in passing. Jane messaged Combs in a state of shock. She wrote, "I feel like I'm reading my own sexual trauma. Even 2 of my own birthdays you forced men on me," she said. "The sick part is that you knew this was coming, and you gaslit me, and made me feel crazy about the trauma I was developing, knowing you've been here before. It's also clear that this was exploitation that you framed as love for your sick fetishes." Combs didn't respond for 2 days. Then he texted, "Call me on this phone. It's important." Jurors then heard the call between Combs and Jane in November 2023, and that call came from his former chief of staff's phone, Christina Coram. Jane testified that she didn't know that she was being recorded, but that she could hear Combs writing and taking notes. On the call, he said, "You know I can't really talk on this phone," but then he tried to make her feel better. Jane was audibly emotional. She said on the phone that she was haunted by the hotel nights flashbacks. He said, "It's just some kinky-ish that I thought we both, you know what I'm trying to say, enjoyed. I need you to be there for me." She replied, "Who's there for me when I close my eyes and I have those effed up things in my head?" Combs told her to contact Coram if he needed anything. They hung up, but then they had a second phone call that day. That second call was also recorded, and Combs can be heard saying multiple times, "I need your friendship right now." He added, "You know you ain't gotta worry about nothing else." And Jane testified that he meant that he would keep covering her rent. After Cassie's lawsuit, Jane testified that she didn't see Combs again until February 2024. But between them, texts, accusations, voice messages, and even a FaceTime call where Jane alleges that Combs told her to put a price on her pain. Jane testified that even though her and Combs were on a break, that they stayed in touch. On December 7, she messaged him something from Instagram that she said was very triggering. She texted him, "I'm crying. It's so close to some nights I felt forced. Please stop using women for your fetishes. Hire workers and stop emotionally harming women that love you." Combs replied, "You trying to set me up? This is crazy. Are you recording our calls?" Jane texted back, "No, stop calling me. You'll never understand because you are so deep in your own lies." She added, "I set up the men for myself because I didn't want to be set up with strangers. It was protective instinct." In more messages, Jane told Combs, "I became the side chick and the worker in my own relationship." She said that it was all traumatizing. Meanwhile, Combs asked if she was dating, asked to see her in the new year, and even asked about his Christmas present. Jane told him that she was only buying gifts for her child that year because the past few years had been unproductive. She testified she meant that she was referring to the hotel nights. On December 27, Jane sent more messages, one that stated, "You couldn't ever handle this pain." She added, "I'm not even the same person anymore." Combs asked her how they could move forward and if he could see her in the new year. Jane told him, "I lifted you up in those rooms. I took on a lot to make you happy." When she brought up the rooms, Combs again accused her of setting him up and told her, "Stop with the rooms." Jane testified that she never planned on suing Combs. And when asked why she didn't bring this up sooner, she told the court, It was just a shameful, dark secret of mine, in that she vented to Combs because she didn't want to share the trauma of the hotel nights with anyone else. Jane testified that eventually her and Combs got on a FaceTime call, where Combs told her, "Charge me for your resentment. I just need you to get over this. I don't want any loose ends." After the call, Jane texted him a list of terms, asking for hundreds of thousands of dollars that she thought she was owed after the 3 years together. Combs replied. He called her an opportunist, a liar, and a con artist, and he allegedly threatened to send the videos of them together to her child's father. The next day, December 28, Jane texted Combs' former chief of staff, Christina Coram, stating, "He said that he would expose me and send the tapes to my child's father. He's been bothering me for 2 months." She testified that Coram told her that she hid the phones that the tapes were on, and that told them that they should both take space from each other. Jane testified that Coram warned, "Otherwise, we end up in situations like we are now," which Jane believes was her referring to the Cassidy lawsuit. Jane and Combs didn't speak again until February 2024, and she testified that the space was a rare feeling of calm. In January, she took a trip to Vegas with a rapper and a few of her friends. They went to dinner, a show, and then back to the rapper's hotel room, and she testified that one of Combs' entertainers was already in the hotel room. She said that he was sleeping with someone while others watched, and that in January her finances began to improve. She launched an OF account, and one of her friends allegedly gave her $9,000 to help get her back on her feet. Jane testified that her and Combs got back in contact in February, when he texted her that he had a dream about her, and she said that she replied because she missed him dearly. Combs said that he missed her smile and asked her to send him a photo of her pretty teeth, and then said that they should spend her birthday together. Jane texted, "I'm a little traumatized from my past birthdays and what they ultimately led to." Jane testified that she was referring to hotel nights here. Despite expressing reservations via text, Jane eventually flew to Miami for her birthday. Combs hosted a private dinner complete with gifts and decorations. And that night, after drinking and taking some substances, Combs asked her if she wanted to see Dawn, one of the previous entertainers that they've used. Jane testified that she agreed and slept with Dawn in front of Combs. When asked why, she testified, "At this point, I'm just so used to that being the outcome. I just accept it." Jane and Combs then resumed the relationship in 2024 and continued having these hotel nights, but at the privacy of their homes. After Homeland Security raided Combs' home, Jane testified that one of the entertainers, Sly, texted her, threatening to release their video. The video had been recorded by Combs, but using Sly's phone, and he demanded $10,000. Jane got Combs' legal team involved, and they warned that it was sextortion. Soon after, a media outlet contacted her that they had acquired the tapes, but it was never released. Jane testified that the worst night was on June 18, 2024, in Los Angeles. After setting up a romantic evening, things turned violent when she confronted Combs about another woman. He allegedly chased her from room to room, kicked down multiple doors, and when she tried to run away, he kicked her in the back of the thigh, picked her up in a chokehold, and choked her. She hid outside for 2 hours, but when she returned, Combs found her. "I punched him and he punched me, and then he dragged her back inside by her arm and her hair." He testified that later, Combs made her take substances and sleep with another entertainer, and she was yelling, "I don't want to, I don't want to." And he allegedly responded, "Is this coercion?" Jane testified that Combs paid her in cash to cover the damages and the cost of the entertainer. She testified that they saw each other again, even a few times after the violence. By late summer, she said they broke contact. "I just asked myself, why am I doing this?" In April 2025, she stopped meeting with Combs' legal team, and when asked how she feels about him today, she said, "I just pray for his continued healing. I just pray for peace for him." Her testimony was a long one. Let me know if you have comments or questions down below, and let me know if you want more specific details. I know that this was a lot.